Quick note before we begin. This is a compilation of videos that I made as I was playing through Terraria, so I've already been corrected on things I got wrong, and I've already received the answers to whenever I say, ooh, let me know in the comments, blah blah blah. Also, the first 7 minutes are a little blurrier than I'd like, and that is just because I accidentally recorded the footage with settings a little lower than I'd like. There's nothing I could really do about it, believe me, I tried. Anyways, enjoy the video! What is up, Draconics? Drago here, and welcome to Terraria. Wait, hold on. Alright, where was I? Yes. Welcome to Terraria! I have never played this game before. I don't know a thing about it. Yeah, let's get into this. Let's do this. Let's do this, babe. So, as I begin my Terrarian journey, oh yeah, this video is actually narrated. Ha 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 ha, I tricked you. Anyways, I begin by creating my character where I keep clicking the B button because my instinct tells me that it should take me back to previous selection of creation of my character, but instead takes me back to the menu of which I have to start the process all over again. What'd I do? Son of a... First time do classic. Alright. I'm gonna try and make this as much like my dragon... Son of a... Alright. Note to self, do not click the B button. Under any circumstance, I must not click the B button. Alrighty. So after finally getting my character created, I decided to boot up my world, which my chat insisted on being a hard world. But I am what my father likes to call a pansy, so I chose a classic world instead. And boy, am I glad I did, because this world is gorgeous. And also, again, I don't know a thing about Terraria. I don't know how to play the game. I don't know what any of the mechanics are. Ooh, I have a little cursor. I am going in blindfolded and nose plugged. Alright? I would just like to make that clear. So after figuring out my tools and gathering a little bit of wood... Ooh, I got wood! I set off to adventure! I wanted to see what this world has to offer. I wanted to explore, to discover, to fight my first slime. Ow. No. But exploration would have to wait, for I first needed to build a house in which I could hunker down during the nighttime, which I would soon find out to be quite precarious. Huh? Ooh, an NPC. Hello. That is in fact not an NPC. That is a zombie. And because I didn't exactly want to deal with that, I decided to just continue working on my house, even in the dead of night. Until I decided to just man up and deal with the zombies. Let's try... Die. I stab you from my door, foul beasts. It's over, zombies. I have the high ground. With the infestation cleared, I simply continued to build my house. But then there was a bit of an incident. Oh, I should have had my sword ready. I don't have my sword ready. And there you have it, folks. My first ever death on Terraria. So it's a darn good thing I set up my base real close to spawn, as I had not yet received a bed to reset my spawn point. So I just sat my butt down and waited out the night. Until I got bored and went back to stabbing zombies. But morning came soon enough, and with it, my chance to finally go out and explore the world and see what was truly out there. And with my new combat skills, surely there was no way I could perish or be humbled by this experience. Ha ha ha! Not at all whatsoever. So I set out, first finding myself in a desert, where I learned A, you cannot swim naturally, B, vultures were naturally hostile, and C, I was not very good at combat. Like, at all. So after I got thoroughly humbled by the frosty slime, I decided to hunker down back at base as night had began to fall, except this time, rather than stab zombies, I would go down and do something actually productive with my nighttime, that being mining. So into the mines I went. I got some stone as building material, and come morning I decided, this is not a proper house. I need to build a proper house. And so build a proper house I did. And so ends Stream 1, bringing us to the end of this little recap. Except I started Stream 2 2 hours later because I was bored. And at the start of Stream 2, I took a second to actually figure out my controls, something I probably should have done in Stream 1. And whilst doing this, I discovered I could actually zoom in. I can zoom in? Would have been real nice to know much earlier, chat! Anyways, not so passive aggressiveness aside, Stream 2 I actually had a goal in mind. That goal was to build an NPC house. However, I first needed to progress in general, so I set back down into the mines. That was after saving Logan's butt. Come on in. As soon as I kill this guy. But now herein lies one of the obstacles that I faced during this live stream. See, I wanted to turn my house into an NPC house. That is, an NPC who is not Logan. And to do that, I needed to get him out of my house. This would prove to be the challenge of this live stream. But kicking out Logan will have to wait, as I discovered that I could create an anvil. And with that anvil created, I suddenly felt the need to go mining to gather more resources and achieve more progression. So I set off into the mines, where I found this little cave, and then also had this weird thing where I could, see the resources in the walls. I don't know if this was, a glitch, or if there was a button I pushed, but I don't know how to replicate this. I would very much like to know how to replicate this. If you know how to replicate this, please tell me in the comments, or in the comments of my next live stream. That would be greatly appreciated. Anyways, after this little mining session, I decided it would be time to kick out Logan. I'll save you all the nitty-gritty details of what I try to do. Logan, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. But eventually, chat told me that I had to basically make another house for him to occupy so that a new NPC could come to my house. So I first actually made a little tunnel system to my old house and repaired it. Then I repaired my other house. And then I basically just went mining the entire rest of the stream. But upon returning to the surface, I don't know. I've done a lot of mining. I'm gonna use this real quick. How do I set my spawn? I need to figure out how the heck I set my spawn. Wait. Is there somebody else living over here? There is! Hello! Seymour. The merchant! That is right. First goal achieved. We have gotten an NPC, Seymour the merchant. I'm sure he will be a great help and will most certainly not throw himself in any unnecessary danger. Yeah, don't, that's the mine. That is the mine, Seymour. Don't go in there. Oh boy. Bringing us to Stream 3. Between streams, I've had an idea. A wonderful idea. I have had a truly wonderful idea. See, making an NPC house was all well and good, but it was a short-sighted, small-minded goal. I have since expanded my horizons, for I will not build just an NPC house. Oh, no. See, my plan for Stream 3, at least to start, was to build an NPC apartment complex. Whilst I was undergoing the renovations to my current house, I had a bit of a conversation with Zoxel. Am I saying that right? It doesn't matter. Anyway, I was having a conversation with the guy in my chat about what expert mode would actually mean for me. And in summary, better stuff all across the board. Which honestly, that was enough for me. And I didn't really think it would take a whole lot in order for me to get back to where I was in terms of gear and loot and stuff. So yeah. I just made a brand new world with a brand new start. However, I was then pleasantly surprised upon booting up that world. Said this. Also, I am glad that I can actually just, now that I know that I can zoom in, that's not, wait. Wait, what? Oh my... One second, hold on. So after discovering that I could bring my stuff with me, I immediately went back to my other world, filled my inventory with as many of my valuables as I could, and then got straight to work on that apartment complex. As I was figuring out the general architecture, Jan proved to be even more of a nuisance than Logan was. Reason being, he kept opening doors and letting monsters in during the nighttime. Logan, why are you letting things in? Okay. Alright, that is very nice. Okay. Gosh dang it, Lucas. I assume he'll be less likely to leave doors open and let things in once it's classified as a proper house, right? Son of Yeah, I'm leaving Logan out there just because. So after figuring out these platform thingies, I continued construction during the night, and as I did, I kept picking up these fallen stars, which I could turn into mana crystals, and upon consuming these mana crystals, I could expand my mana, and that mana could then later be used for magic. Fun! So as I'm continuing the construction of my house, things begin to go oh so horribly wrong. Oh, enemies can go through platforms. Alright. Logan, come on. No! Okay, maybe horribly in hindsight was a bit of an overstatement, but still. Very annoying. I wound up barricading the door so that Jan couldn't pull this kind of crap again. And from there to further prevent Jan from pulling this kind of crap again, I actually decided to start building his space so that he would hunker down in the night instead of open the doors and fight monsters and let them in. And once I had accomplished that, building the rest of the apartment was actually pretty smooth sailing, all things considered. What the? Hold up. Ghosts? There's ghosts? I didn't know there were ghosts. Hold up. Ah! Because I had agreed with Zoxel that I should use stone brick walls, which were a little more expensive than just regular stone walls, I did spend a considerable amount of time going down and mining out stone so that I could do that. And once I had gathered all the stone, I got to work on completing the apartment complex, and along the way, we got the merchant back. Woohoo! Hey! Nice to see you back, my guy. Joseph. Joseph, hello, Mr. Merchant. Welcome to my apartment welcome to your new home. Anyhow, once I had completed construction, my next goal was to find 5 of these heart crystals, because getting 5 of them would allow me to summon the Eye of Cthulhu. I would have used a photo or video of the actual Terraria boss, but I don't want to spoil myself to his appearance. I'm assuming it just looks like a really big version of the Eye Demons. Anyhow, I begin my mining journey to find these crystals. However, it wasn't without a few setbacks. Whew. Oh, what happened? Ah, I see that is what they call a trap. Shoot! I have no excuse for that. I have no excuse for that, other than I'm just dumb. There were some upsides, though. For example, I had gathered plenty of resources that would allow me to upgrade my gear, and with those upgrades, I'd be able to fight monsters. They would not mitigate my one-sided beef with gravity, but they would most certainly help that beef does not get any monsters involved. Well, so I thought. So, now... Ah! Gosh dang it. That is not at all what I meant to do. I keep dying because I keep getting caught off guard by the stupid slimes unlike last stream, and there was also traps. I died plenty last stream. I just nicked what in the name of... I'm just gonna mine around it. How? Eventually, I did wind up getting on an actually good mining streak where I didn't have monsters that killed me every 5 frickin' flippin' minutes! I did eventually find one of the heart crystals I was looking for. 1 down, 4 to go. And then, after a significant amount of time searching for yet another heart crystal, I died. However, when I respawned, I found that the apartment complex was being occupied by 2 more NPCs, including the Demolitionist.
What makes me a good demo man? If I were a bad demo man, I wouldn't be sitting here discussing it with you now, would I?
Anyhow, I upgraded my stuff just a little bit more and descended back down into the mines where I spent the rest of my stream without finding any more heart crystals. Reason being is that I had to end it prematurely as to prevent my computer from exploding. Moving on to stream 4, I picked up right where I left off on stream 3, searching for those heart crystals so that I can fight my first boss. Along the way, I discovered there are underground houses. That was a neat little surprise. I got some free stuff and a free chest. Neat! Through this mining expedition, I would eventually find my next heart crystal. Oh, crystal! Aha! Nom. Eventually, I stumbled upon a mine shaft where I died, but upon respawning, I upgraded my gear, made myself a minecart, since that's apparently an equip item for some reason. That doesn't really make sense to me, but hey, I'm not complaining. And then I discovered the joys of riding on those rails. Woo! I am Speed! After mining out all of the ores around the mineshaft, as there were a lot of good ores, I went out exploring only to die to a trap. But after I was able to respawn and upgrade my gear even further with the massive amount of resources I had gained from the mineshaft, I decided to go exploring on the surface where I found this little cave. And within this cave there were multiple chests, and within these chests was some pretty good loot. For example, these claws that would allow me to descend. Actually, these claws went with boots that I already have, which had allowed me to climb vertical surfaces when combined. And then I continued mining through this cave system until I once again died. This did not deter me, however, for with my new spelunking claws, I could easily descend back down into the mines and continue my journey. And on this journey, I managed to find my third heart. Just 2 more to go. Whereas I was mining, it wasn't until about, way later into the live stream than I would have preferred, before my chat decided to inform me about a mushroom biome where multiple heart crystals were very likely to spawn, and that this would be found directly under the world spawn. Why was I not informed of this much earlier? Why? So anyways, after dying and respawning again, I decided to just dig straight down from my house. And down, and down, and down, until eventually, I found an underground house. To which I looted the underground house and found Hermes boots! If you were paying any attention to the chat throughout this, you'll probably notice that Zoxel earlier made a comment on how Hermes boots are a pain in the butt to get, so I think this is hilarious. Anyhow, I then continued to dig down, and down, and down, until... Oh, have I found it? Did I find it? Because that's a funky looking tree. Mushrooms. I had found the mushroom biome and my 4th heart after dying, as you can see by the tombstone. And I went deeper into the mushroom biome where I found a whole lot of jars, and there was a rare chance that the mushroom biome jars can drop a shroomerang, which is apparently super overpowered at my level. I got 2 of these things, much to the confusion of Zoxel. I think he's starting to get a little ticked off at my luck at this time. I also got a gravity potion, which would allow me to easily explore the skies and get myself a pair of wings by finding a sky island. Unfortunately, I believe in learning on the job instead of reading instructions. Okay, should I use the graph potion right now and go find sky islands? How... Yeah, sure, why not? Oh! What in the world? Huh? I then ventured more to the right of the map and found an underground tree base and got some loot from that, so that was cool. Anyways, I went back down to the mushroom zone, got my other 2 heart crystals, and then, now that the Eye of Cthulhu could spawn, I immediately went to set up what is called an arena. And as night fell on my new arena, disaster. Horrible, awful disaster. Probably the worst thing that could have happened, happened. Blood Moon. Is this part of the boss? Is this part of the boss, or is this a random event? I suspect that was not a part of the boss. Okay. I'm going to... They can open doors. No. Back! Back, foul beasts! Once I had finally barricaded the doors, I was able to wait out the night. And from there, I'd completed my arena, and the rest of the stream was spent exploring, mining, nothing really worthy of note. And so we begin stream 5 with an especially energetic start. Welcome back to the Terraria, now with 100% more caffeine! And so began my hunt for a sky island. Gosh dang it. So the indicator I was looking for was falling water from the sky, and having found no indicator for a sky island, I decided to just renovate my house and then take my search to the sky itself. So I built upwards, and once I had reached the acquired altitude, as indicated by Zoxel, I built a platform straight across. And I built, and I built, and I built, and eventually I would find that there would be harpies that would spawn and attack me, so I knew I was getting close. So I was not deterred, although I did die plenty times doing this. Fear the Shroomerang! But I was not deterred, for I would continue to build until I arrived at my goal, and upon arrival I made sure to collect the loot within. Unfortunately, amongst the loot there was a distinct lack of what I sought, that being a pair of wings which would allow me to fly, albeit for limited amounts of time. So I set out to find another sky island, as surely the second would contain my wings. However, during this endeavor, I had to end Stream 5 due to time constraints. For Stream 6, I had gotten an idea of how I could more easily find sky islands. Basically, I would systematically just go on the ground and then build straight upwards, as then there would be less time for the harpies to spawn and bother me. But after the first attempt of this strategy not yielding a sky island, I decided to take a trip back into the mines to further prepare myself so that I could more easily take the harpies. And on this trip, I discovered yet another mine shaft. However, the problem I would end up facing is that my inventory was completely full. So I returned home, emptied my inventory, but instead of going back to get the resources, I decided to take another shot at finding a sky island. As you can see, I was successful, and the loot contained within held no wings, but a nice piece of equipment, and a fancy new table and set of chairs for my house. So, hey, small victories. Anyhow, after realizing I had enough iron to upgrade my gear a little bit more, I went right back down to the mines to finish mining out that mine shaft. After mining for a bit, I died, and upon respawning, rather than go back to the mine shaft, I decided to go find yet another sky island, finding my third immediately. And upon looting this sky island, I found my new favorite weapon. The bulky Star Fury. Ooh. Ha! Ha ha!
Oh, that is cool! I rain the fury of the heavens upon you.
With my new weapon in tow, I returned to the mine shaft to finish mining out the resources. And after returning from this mining trip, I went to sort my stuff, and while I was doing that, I noticed that in my crafting there were gem corns. This meant that I could grow gem trees, and that meant I could farm gems, and by farming gems, I could craft a staff, a magic staff. I had chosen the mage class as my Terraria class, and this would actually allow me to, do that. So down into the underground I went, where I set up a gem tree farm. And then while I was down there, I just continued mining for more resources. And after a good long while of mining, with occasional trips to the surface to upgrade my gear, I decided that I'm not going to sit around and wait for the Eye of Cthulhu to come to me. Instead, I would use the 6 lenses that I gathered from killing those eye demons to craft the summoning device. Unfortunately, the only way I could do that was with a demon altar which was found in the Crimson. So to the Crimson, I would venture to go underground and find one of these demon altars. But on the way...
What the? Oh. Okay, it is now raining slimes.
But I would not let the slime rain distract me, for I was on a mission to fight my first boss. So I continued into the Crimsons, where I could find this altar and fight the Eye of Cthulhu. Unfortunately, before I could achieve that, I died! However, I was then informed that should I kill 150 slimes, I would then be faced with the Slime King. And with the slime rain, I could more easily achieve that. So, fighting my first boss was still in reach. So I set out and slayed as many slimes as I could. And eventually...
Never mind. Never mind. Oh, whoa! Aha, this is it. An epic battle of wit. And... okay. I just... okay, it's a darn good thing I have the Starstruck, because it allows me to lay the pressure on the Slime King while also defending myself from other things. Ah, no. Come on. I need to target the king. Aha! No!
So I failed my first boss battle. It happens. So I returned to the Crimson, where I would find the demon altar. Here's the thing, what I did not know was that these things were the demon altars. Because I had not realized that these were the demon altars, much to the extreme frustration of Zoxel, I had spent a very long time fighting off these monsters that were down here. Eventually, he told me that I could use bombs to break these little crimson things and get to these hearts. I thought the hearts were the demon altars for a little bit, but no, they just dropped some really cool loot, like this gun! Now, I did inevitably figure out the demon altar thing, and after getting the Jacksepticeye reference of an achievement, I returned home with my new summoner, and of course there was a flippin' blood moon while I was gone. Why the heck wouldn't there be? Anyways, the gunsmith also moved in while I was gone. I talked to him, got a bunch of silver bullets in preparation for the next stream, bringing stream 6 to a close. It was a new dawn in stream 7. I had obtained the summoner to finally fight the Eye of Cthulhu, the thing that I have been preparing for since learning what the Eye of Cthulhu was.
And because the Eye of Cthulhu could only be fought during the nighttime, I spent the daytime boarding up the sides of the arena so that zombies wouldn't disturb the fight. And once I had finished boarding up the arena, I planned on waiting until nighttime. However, when the sky got dark, I thought it was just the storm getting worse rather than what was actually happening, which was the shifting from the daytime to the nighttime, which is what I wanted. But because I'm dumb, I didn't realize that was what was happening until it was too late. See, I planned on fighting Cthulhu right when it turned nighttime due to him despawning when it turned into daytime. So I just waited out the storm and waited until I had a clear night to fight him in. However, I did not have to wait until a clear night, for upon daybreak I realized I could craft a pocket watch. So, upon making one, I also decided to spend the day making a rope elevator down to my gem tree farm, as to make it a little easier to get up and down from there so I don't have to keep using my recall potions. And after ascending from the farm just in time for night to fall, I went to begin my fight. Excellent. Let the battle begin! Ow, 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 ow. Ow, ow, ow! Gosh dang it! In hindsight, maybe I should have made 2 of those summonings before leaving the Crimson, because now I go all the way. Indeed, I should have made 2 summoners. However, whilst waiting for the safety of daylight, I got an idea. See, I thought that these bosses despawned because of how far away my spawn point was in conjunction to where the battle was. In reality, they will just despawn the moment you die regardless. However, I didn't know that, so I set my spawn point right below where the arena was, thinking that would work for some reason. I don't know. Anyways, once it was daytime, I went back to the Crimson to make another summoner. After I crafted the summoner, it was still daytime, so I went down, harvested some gems, waited out the day, but upon nightfall for round 2... Ah, for the love of... It's a real bad time to do this game. Ah, gosh dang it. After the Blood Moon, somebody did end up explaining to me that bosses do despawn when you die no matter what, regardless of if your spawn point is still right at the scene of the battle. So I was able to move my bed back so that once I did respawn, it was in the comfort of my own home. And then I lied in wait for night to fall so that I could have a round 2 against the Eye of Cthulhu. Although I did end up getting more lenses from the Blood Moon, so I went back to craft yet another Eye of Cthulhu spawner, just in case. And then I waited for nightfall to begin round 2 against the Eye of Cthulhu. Let the battle begin. Ah! 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 There. Oh gosh. Oh, second phase. Second phase. Ow, ow, ow. Shoot, 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 shoot. I'm trapping myself. My house backfired. Ugh!
Huh. Okay, I took down the house so that this wouldn't happen again. Enter round 3, as surely this time I will... Gah! Gosh dang it! Okay, clearly my strategy needs to change. The first change I needed was a better health gain. And the way to do that was to create proper healing potions instead of relying on these lesser healing potions. Upon asking the chat, they told me that I could just combine 2 lesser healing potions with a glowing mushroom to get better healing potions. So, to the mushroom biome I went to get glowing mushrooms, as many of glowing mushrooms that I could possibly need. And from there, I decided to go mining after gathering the mushrooms, since I was underground anyway, and while I was doing that, the most amazing thing happened. Requires gold. And never mind. This is my chance to get a rematch. Hold on. To the arena. This is my chance to have a rematch against the Slime King. I will be honest though, this slime rain is rather lucrative. And here we go. Ah, shoot. Shoot. Okay. I should probably stop smacking my keyboard. Now this brings me to the other thing I need to change. My weapon of choice. See, the Star Sword was all well and good, alright? The idea was that it was good because it gave both melee and projectile damage. However, it also gave me minus 15 speed, which is not great when your boss is primarily a melee attacker. So, perhaps it would be more effective should I switch my primary weapon from the sword to the gun. And from there, while there was still slime rain, I was continuing to kill slimes to see if I could get the Slime King to spawn again. However, I feel an evil presence watching me. You gotta be kidding me. So, Eye of Cthulhu is gonna rematch me anyways. Okay. Just move quick, right? Maybe I should drop the Star Fury because it does restrict my movement quite a fair bit. This is actually working. This is actually working. Ah, slime, out of the way. Ooh, ooh. Eat the power of... I acquired this gun trying to summon you, and now this gun will be your downfall. Oh! Ha! Ha 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 ha! Yes! Yes! Take that, you stupid eye! Okay. Woo! However, my victory would be short-lived, for soon after, whilst I was going over what to do with my winnings, disaster would strike. And of course it would strike when absolutely least convenient, because why the heck wouldn't it? Oh, for the love of... This is not a good time! I fought off the goblin army best I could. However, death after death after death, needless to say, it took a while. But in the end, I had finally achieved victory. Although my house was now a big ol' misty graveyard, because why the heck not? On top of that, they had slaughtered most of the NPCs who also lived there. Great. Whoop-de-flippin'-doo! And from there, I cleaned up the graves from my house. The druid NPC arrived, which apparently is going to be a little important for getting rid of the crimson, because that's going to spread, as I was later informed. And then I went down to tend to my gem tree farm and then mined for the rest of the stream. We begin stream 8, still in the mines, as I am searching for one thing in particular. Diamonds. I just need one so that I can place it amongst my gem tree farm to farm diamonds, and with diamonds I can craft a magic mirror. However, I did not find diamonds. What I did find, however, was this little goblin dude, who would then be very important later on. Lots of resources and metals and sapphires. And those sapphires would then be used to craft a magic staff. Oh, and this happened as well. Did I read that correctly? What? And, Heart! Anyhows, since I returned home, I upgraded my gear to full platinum. I was missing the boots at the time, and then also added a platinum crown, just because. Anyways, after this, I went to the Crimson to begin setting up an arena. The reason for this arena was that upon breaking a third one of those hearts, as I had only broken 2 by this point, I would spawn the brain of Cthulhu. However, before I could get around to setting up this arena, I ended up drowning like an idiot. Upon respawning at home to a blood moon, I boarded up the doors, and then somebody told me a little something that led to this little revelation. This whole time, I've been able to put my money in chests. Why did it never occur to me that I could put my money in the chests? Ah! I feel like an absolute imbecile. And then, to add insult to injury, I realized I had this money trap. Okay, well, I already knew I had this money trap. I just didn't really understand how to use it or how it was useful. I sure as heck do now! So anyways, I went mining for a bit. I periodically put my money into the money trough because now I wouldn't lose it when I died. And upon returning, I decided to start selling my stuff so that I could buy 2 things from the Tinkerer. Also, he moved in, by the way. You probably noticed. Those 2 things being rocket boots. Man, that was awesome. And then the second thing was the Tinkerer's Workshop, which would allow me to combine certain pieces of equipment, which turned out to be super duper helpful for equipment space. And with my newly combined equipment, I went back to the Crimson to continue working on this new boss arena, which is where I spent the rest of the stream. I did not finish the arena, by the way. I've only got this one layer of platforms. Moving on to stream 9, I start by formatting my arena a little bit to accommodate for my spectral boots, which allow me temporary flight. I don't get around to finishing it before going down to the mines to do some more mining. Now, what I was mining for is diamonds. I was on the hunt for diamonds, as there were two items that I needed to craft with the diamonds, that being the diamond staff and the magic mirror. For the magic mirror would be an infinite use version of the recall potions, and the diamond staff was just a better version of the sapphire staff, which I had already gotten. It wouldn't be long until I would find myself a diamond gem tree, which is good because my plan was to make them into gem trees anyway once I had found diamonds. So I went to my gem corn farm, planted the gem trees, and now all I had to do was wait for them to grow into beautiful diamonds. Upon returning to base, I noticed that the gunsmith was selling gun parts. Now, I thought that what these did is I attached them to my gun and it would make it better. That is not how these things work. They're a crafting material for a gun that is better. Either way, I would sell a bunch of stuff and buy the gun parts. And upon being disappointed that they did not, in fact, upgrade the gun that I already had, I put them in storage and wait for when I would get the other materials to craft the aforementioned superior gun. After this, I returned to the Crimson and finished the arena that I would use in my fight against the brain of Cthulhu. And upon summoning him... Whoa! Whoa, what is happening? What is happening? Climb out! Climb out! Climb out! Climb out! Gosh dang it. So yeah, that went about as bad as it possibly could have gone. So anyways, upon respawning, I decided, what if I tried going to the underworld? So I dug down and way, way down, and I got to the underworld where I very, very quickly died because I was very underprepared for the underworld. So anyways, I respawned, a blood moon happened, and it was only then that someone would inform me that the entire stream, the sound has been a little bit off and I needed to restart my software. Thus bringing us to Stream 10, where I'm thinking it's time for one final rematch against the Slime King. Hello, buddy! Buddy boy! Do-do-do-do-do. Ah, no. Target the Slime King. Oh, hi. Ow. There we go. After retrieving my victory, I went back to the Crimson to rematch the Brain of Cthulhu. The thing is, to summon the Brain of Cthulhu, I needed to break 3 of these hearts. And what I would soon find out is that there were only 2 left in the area close to the arena that I'd built. So, defeated, I ended the stream because my streaming thing was still not working quite up to snuff, causing a lot of lag. Beginning stream 11, I'm still wanting to fight the Brain of Cthulhu again, so I go and collect some viscous mushrooms, as those are what I need to craft the manual summoner for the Brain of Cthulhu. And upon getting what I need, I craft the summoner and begin the fight. Alright, here we go. Oh, that's why I need the bulky Star Fury. Ow! Oh! Well, I'm getting tissue samples, but now I'm going to die. Now, well, yes, I may have lost. However, I had actually seen how the Brain of Cthulhu actually fights this time, thus allowing me to devise a strategy. The strategy in question being sticker to grenades. As to the effectiveness of this strategy, well, see for yourself. Alright, here we go. Ha ha ha! Oh! Da 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 da. Ha 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 ha. It worked. My genius astounds even me at times. Nope, get away from me. Get away from me. And that's how we do. And to the victor goes the spoils. I crafted a full set of Crimnite armor and a Crimnite pickaxe. After which, I went to my diamond farm, collected some diamonds, and created the diamond staff. And it was then that I finally tried this reforge function from the Tinkerer. Basically, it would add buffs or various effects to things for a price. After some experimentation, I added some stuff to all of my, stuff. After which, I then would wait for a meteorite to crash, as by defeating the Brain of Cthulhu, that is now something that could happen. However, because meteorite blocks are fire blocks, I needed to get the obsidian skull to ensure that I wouldn't burn to death. So I went underground, collected some obsidian by combining water with lava. I then crafted the skull and went to collect every last piece of meteorite that I possibly could. And with those meteorites, I crafted yet another full set of armor, as well as a space gun. So that was cool. With this new gear, I would try my hand at the underworld again. It did not go so well. And I was then informed that maybe I should go to the dungeon, as there could be loot there. Hello.
Huh. Well, that'll do it for this stream, I guess. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, you know the drill. Goodbye.
We begin stream 12 with a trip down to the underworld, where I am in search of obsidian skin potions, as those would allow me to become lava-proof. And if I am lava-proof, gathering hexstone will become much, much easier. Though my trip to the underworld wouldn't last long, as it would be cut short by a bone serpent. Ah! Ah! Ah!
Gosh dang it.
Okay, so technically I burned to death. I still blame the bone serpent. Serpentine blame game aside, I returned to the underworld. However, my trip would be cut short yet again.
I do have the scammer goblet, and for the love of...
But the goblin army would not catch me off guard a second time, for rather than let them slaughter my NPCs, I would instead use my ray gun and slaughter them! After the goblin army was done and dealt with, I decided to go and try my hand at defeating the Torch God. Here's how that went.
Okay, how do I... Question. How do I beat this thing?
Well, past me, you defeat the Torch God by merely surviving for 2 minutes. However, instead of trying again with the Torch God, I decided to repay a visit to the dungeon, because that went so well last time. Except I wouldn't actually be entering the dungeon this time, but rather I would be talking to the old men out front and summoning the boss Skeletron, for the defeat of Skeletron would banish the Dungeon Guardian, thus allowing me entry. But defeating Skeletron was easier said than done.
Hello.
Yeah, this is how I would spend the rest of the stream.
Shoot, shoot. Gosh dang it. Come on. Gosh dang it.
On to stream 13.
I'm going to die now. Well, that didn't go well.
I took a bit of a break from trying to defeat Skeletron and tried my hand at the Torch God again, in which case it actually went pretty well.
I suppose that's fair. See what I mean? Okay, already I am doing a lot better than I have before. Oh, shoot. Huh?
Oh! Hey, I did it! And now, back to the pain.
Shoot! No!
But then, finally,
on stream 14. Alright, it's nighttime now. Alrighty. Gosh dang it. Gosh dang it. Gosh dang it. Just run in circles around him. Just run in circles. Run in circles and keep shooting. Ah, no, 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 no. Come on, 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 come on. Yes! Final freaking Lee! Ah, 3 live streams later. Woo! With the defeat of Skeletron, I entered the dungeon, and when I got down there, I found that there was a bound mechanic, so I freed her, sent her on a merry way, and went in search of a weapon called a water bolt. Now, to find this, I would need to destroy bookshelves, so I spent a lot of time doing that. Unfortunately, I found that there are certain enemies that would prevent me from being able to fight back. What the? Huh. I re-entered the dungeon still in search of my water bolt, and along the way, I would end up getting a pretty lucky drop that would prevent that curse thing from happening again. Afterwards, another enemy dropped a golden key, which would then open a chest, and inside of that chest was a pretty neat looking sword. But it is not what I was looking for. So I continued my search, I picked up an alchemy table, and eventually, I found my water bolt. Bug me. Aha! Found it! Magic damage. After receiving my water bolt, I went home and decided to organize my stuff, sort through my loot, empty my inventory, and then I worked on my house a little bit. And once I was done with that, I returned to the dungeon to see what else I could find within. Alright, what do we got here? Ooh. Ha 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 ha! Magic missile, eh? Ooh. So the magic missile would prove to be completely overpowered because I was playing on console, which the magic missile, normally you have to manually control it, which I could still do. However, if I didn't manually control it, it would auto-target, which made it all kinds of busted. Anyhows, I would venture into the jungle in search of Queen Bee. And to find the Queen Bee, I would need to first find a beehive. It didn't take me long to find one, however, I would also then make a grave mistake. What have I just done? What have I just done? Shoot. Gosh dang it!
Luckily, the manual summoner for Queen Bee was quite easy to craft now that I had found the beehive. However, I did not want to fight this thing on the surface, or so I was told, as it would be much more difficult. So I made the summoners, went back down into the beehive, and had a bit of a rematch.
I have this thing right below the honey so that I can not fall in the honey but still get its regeneration. Ow. Come here. Hey, we did it! Alright, what are the spoils? Ooh. Bee gun. Bee gun. I'm looking, and I don't see a bee gun.
Well, I know what I'm doing for Stream 15. So we begin Stream 15 with another killing of the Bee Queen, and this time I had gotten the Bee Gun, along with a lot of leftover overlap items, which I quickly sold, something that will not come back to bite me in the butt. After selling things, I decided to go into the underworld to try and loot it for everything it was worth with my Shadow Key, which I had gotten from the dungeon. But before I could do that, there was a bit of an incident. See, you need to summon the Wall of Flesh by dropping a guide voodoo doll into lava, which you get by killing voodoo demons. With this knowledge in mind,
Oh! Oh, shoot! Ah! Okay.
after this incident, I was told to find the stuff to make a magic flower, something that by equipping I could auto-use mana potions for, which is really good for the mage class. After a good long while of searching, I realized I already had the stuff to make that at my house. So I went back to the underworld to continue looting. This time, I actually got a significant amount of resources until I was told that I could use the hive pack to make my bee gun stronger. Something I definitely didn't sell by accident. Now, upon retrieving the hive pack, I had also gained another item that would prove most useful.
How do I summon my mount? I can fly! Woo! Yeah!
With my new bee mount, traversing the underworld became an absolute breeze, and I would then spend the rest of the stream looting the underworld. The one item in particular that I had gained is the Flame Slash. Now this would prove to be very, very helpful, as it is just a much better version of the magic missile, because not only does it give fire damage, but it also pierces, which is really good. Stream 16 can be summarized relatively quickly. we started with me remembering why I needed to be in the underworld in the first place, that being Hexstone. So, with my last obsidian potion, I mined for as long as the potion would last. After which, I returned, realized I needed obsidian to make the bricks, and after gathering some obsidian, crafted a pickaxe and an imp staff. Now, this imp staff would prove to be rather helpful, as it would summon an imp to help me fight. Upon returning to the underworld, I found this neat little wizard zombie which dropped a wizard hat. With my new hat, I began to build a platform along the underworld, for you needed a really long platform when fighting the wall of flesh, because you can't exactly dodge around a wall, you just have to continuously keep backing up. So, yeah, I spent the rest of stream 16 building this platform. We begin stream 17 with the platform having been completed, and because there were plenty of voodoo demons along the way, I had plenty of dolls to summon the wall of flesh with. And so, with health regeneration and speed maximized... No! Come on, heal! Gosh dang it! As I said, with health regeneration and speed maximized. Here we go. Let's try this again. Ah. Shoot. Crap, I don't know how to function without my shield. Ouch. Alright, Come on. Yeah. Come on! So close! Yes! Whew. We've done it, my friends. Now, this brings us to the end of my Terraria journey. Now, I enjoyed this game a lot. I will continue to play it in my own time. The reason I am stopping here for YouTube is because it took 17 live streams to get to this point. But seeing as it's the gateway to the rest of the game, where better to stop than right here? It's either that or the end of the game, which will take who knows how long. And frankly, I would like to get onto other projects personally, and so I shall bid you farewell, good luck, and I will see you in the next video.